Good afternoon, and welcome to CNU Talks, live at lunch. I'm Baxter Vendrick, and I will serve as your moderator of sorts for today. This new monthly series is brought to you by the Office of Alumni Relations and your Christopher Newport Alumni Society. These talks will bring to you different members of the Christopher Newport community to discuss a variety of topics of interest, from coaches to professors to alumni doing some incredible things. And we hope to bring forth things that speak to you. Some of these will take place on Zoom, like today, while others will be hosted by various regional alumni chapters or areas working to start one. Back in the fall, when I mentioned this series to President Kelly, he said he was all in on this and would love to be the person to start off the series. So I'm excited that President Kelly is with us today, live from his office in Christopher Newport Hall. He will begin today with sharing some thoughts with the hundreds of people who registered. And when you have questions, just please type them in the Q&A area. Once President Kelly is ready for questions, I will read some of those asked as long as time allows. This session will be recorded and shared to our Captain for Life community to view at another time. So with that, I turn to the sixth president of Christopher Newport University, William G. Kelly.
Well, thank you, Baxter. I appreciate the opportunity to be with everybody today, and welcome to all of our Captains for Life. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day, your busy day, to join us. And I look forward to sharing this recording as well with those who aren't able to join us at this point in time. You know, what I thought I would do was maybe just take a moment, introduce myself, give a real short snippet on what I learned during the first semester, and then maybe some goals as we move our way into the second semester in 2024. So welcome and Happy New Year. My name is Bill Kelly. For those I haven't had the opportunity to meet in person or online, I came to Christopher Newport University after 36 years in the United States military. I was a Coast Guard officer. I retired as a two-star flag officer, previously serving as a superintendent at the United States Coast Guard Academy. Back in 1991, my wife Angie and I bought our very first house about 3.1 miles up the road from Christopher Newport College at the time. And our son Patrick, our oldest son, was born at Riverside Hospital. So we lived there for 3 years, had the joy of owning our first home, selling our first home, and also having our first child when we lived here. We always looked forward to the opportunities to come back to visit friends, back to visit the area. And when the opportunity presented itself, we were all in on trying to be selected to be the sixth president. And when I received that call from the rector on December 14th of 2022, it was a little bit of an emotional day. And then when I was introduced on February 12th of 23, even more emotional day. And then when actually inaugurated on the 14th of August, it truly was. So it has been an amazing first 6 months. It seems like 6 years at times, and it seems like 6 minutes at times. So much has been jam-packed into it, and I can't thank Baxter and his team enough, and just literally everyone here at the university for welcoming my wife Angie and I with open arms. And it's been a pleasure and honor to get to know our alums, whether that was at the homecoming event, walking through Tailgate Alley, or meeting with alums during the holiday parties, or meeting them one-on-one wherever they're at. And I look forward to the opportunity to continue to do that. Real quick sidebar, I've been up in Richmond a lot since the start of the legislative session. Every single time I've been there, I have met 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Captains for Life who are working as staffers, working in the building, trying to do what's right for the Commonwealth and the people of this great state. So I continue to be inspired each and every day. You know, we say we're anchored in excellence here, and I looked for that during my first semester. I tried to identify where we are anchored in excellence, and maybe some areas where we need to lean in and make sure we're not dragging anchor, if you will. I'm using a lot of nautical terms here, but I hope you can stay with me. We are anchored in excellence in so many ways. Our faculty are incredible. They are truly dedicated to their students. They're dedicated to this university. And that has inspired me each and every day to work closely with them. And my job is to support them, working with the provost and our new chief of staff as well. Our students have embraced Angie and I completely. In fact, Angie had about 25 students over the house last night for an event, and I went for a Wednesday walk with the president with about another 25 this morning. They have reached out, and quite often when I have the opportunity to interact with our students, they genuinely ask me, "How am I doing? How am I acclimating? How's my family doing?" And that it catches me a little bit, because that's not what every 18 to 22-year-old or what every college student is going to stop and pause and ask you how you're doing. But this place is special, and this place is different, as you know that. And we truly appreciate that. Hey, we win a lot. It's really cool to go to a sporting event and know that you probably got a pretty good shot of winning. We were one of 2 colleges at the Division III level that sent every team to the NCAAs in the fall, us and Johns Hopkins. So we're very proud of that, and our teams are doing exceptionally well this winter. And our spring sports are already kicking in. We walked past the women's lacrosse team practicing this morning at 6:30 out on the field. So it's a pretty special place to be, and we've been to numerous events at the Ferguson Center and also the Toler Center, which are 2 gifts that we have on our campus. So as we listen and learn, and we prepare now for the second semester, as I mentioned, I'll be spending a great deal of time up in Richmond, working with our legislators up there on behalf of the university, and also on behalf of the broader 15 universities that make up the schools in the Virginia system. We are not a system, but we do collaborate and work on different legislation, and so we are leaning in there, and we can talk more about that if there's specific questions. I also am getting the opportunity to get to know more of our alums, and I really am looking forward to CNU Day on the 13th of March, and seeing that enthusiasm, that love for this university play out that day, not only in your treasure, but more as importantly in your time and your talent that you give back to this place. And you know, we're doing well with admissions, but there's still a lot of work to do. We're looking to enroll 1,200 students in the fall for the class of what I guess would be 2028, and we're going to need your help. The actual number of admission packages we received are up. They're up by about 300 this year as compared to last. But yielding those students once they are accepted to Christopher Newport University is going to be critically important. So if you know a young person who's received an appointment, an acceptance letter to Christopher Newport, please encourage them to come visit us again if they haven't visited, and then do everything you can to help us yield them so that they show up here and can start their journey as a captain. Because I am quite confident, being the new guy on campus, that if they get here and are embraced by this community, embraced by the faculty and staff, embraced by this university, they will be quite successful upon graduation. And so we're looking forward to yielding a great class, but we're also looking forward to graduating a great class here in May. And we've made a decision to go back. You know, if you've been following how we do graduations a little bit, the class of 24, so many of these students missed out on their high school graduation. And I've had countless students, family members come to me and say, President Kelly, can we have, you know, all of our students together for graduation? So we've actually worked pretty closely with University Events in the Provost's office and student affairs. And I think we have a great plan for commencement on the 11th of May. So we look forward to that. You know, a couple initiatives that we have going on. We're going to go greener in 24. Some of the students from our sustainability club and leaders both on the staff side and the faculty side approached me in the fall and said, President Kelly, what's your thoughts on being more sustainable, working towards a zero carbon footprint, and recycling? And I share with them some of my background and some of my history in that arena. It goes all the way back to like when I was 5 years old. My dad used to have me bring bottles and cans to the local recycling plant so that I could get a couple of quarters and nickels in my pocket to go out and do what a 5 or 6 or 7 year old does. But since then, I've always tried to focus on sustainability efforts at whatever location I was at in the military. And when the group came forward with such enthusiasm, I said, hey, let's go greener. And it's key that there's an ER, right? We're not going to get there all in 1 year, but we're doing a lot of good things right now. We need to promote those, and we're going to work to be even more conscious of the environment that we're blessed to live in. So that's one of our initiatives for 24. As I said, graduating the class is clearly, job one, and then yielding that class for 28 is going to be a major focus. And again, ask for your help. I had the opportunity to go over to the South Side this morning and meet with a leader over on that side, and she shared with me, your private university is wonderful. It's beautiful there on Warwick Boulevard, and had the opportunity to visit once or twice. And she mentioned 2 or 3 times that it's a private university. We know it's not. It looks like a private university. We act like a private university, but we have some challenges with regards to marketing and getting the word out. And we're going to continue to work on that. Our doors are open. We want to welcome in students from all across the Commonwealth. We need to welcome in more students from here in our local area, the local Hampton Roads area. And we need to do a better job of bringing students in from out of state. Right now, about 6% of our student body is from out of state. And we're working to encourage more international students to also come be part of our community. Right now, we have only 8 international students on our entire campus. So we have some work to do there. And again, ask for your help, ask for your encouragement and your support to help us get the word out about this amazing place. It should not be the best kept secret because this is in my opinion, from what I've learned, the finest regional public college on the East Coast, public university on the East Coast. And we need to share that wide and far, and we will. So a lot of stuff going on. My wife Angie and I are thoroughly enjoying our time here. I like the fact that on a January day, it was 64 degrees out. That's not something I'm accustomed to coming from my time in Alaska and a lot of time in New England. So I'm liking that. That's pretty cool. And the first semester was such a whirlwind. We're really getting our feet on the ground. We're able to walk into rooms now. We know some people. We know what's going on, but there's still a lot to listen and learn about this institution, especially our traditions, our customs that are so very important to CNU. And I really am looking forward to the spring semester and all the great things that we do. We talked about CNU Day on the 13th. We're going to be heading up to New York to see our students perform at 54 Below on the 7th of March. So if you're in the area, if you're up in the New York, New Jersey area, we'd love to have you come join us for that. And Baxter will continue to push information out about alumni events. And I look forward to getting out on the road and visiting you. Right now, my focus for January and February is up in Richmond. We'll be having a Richmond event on the 27th of February. All of our alumni that can make it are invited to that. And information will be coming your way. I think you got to save the date. And if you didn't, you can follow up with Baxter on that. So 27th of February, we'll see you in Richmond. 13th of March, hopefully we'll see you for CNU Day with your support. And if you're in the New York, New Jersey area on the 7th of March, we'd love to see you up there. But you are always welcome back home here at any point in time throughout the year. And I've really tried to work to be approachable and to be on campus. So if you see me, stop me, share your story about being a captain, share your love of this institution. Help me learn more about the institution that we have grown in love with. And I look forward to continue to serve you and serve all of the captains that serve here on our beautiful campus. So Baxter, hopefully we got a couple of questions that I can respond to and share some more thoughts to what our captains might have of interest for the president. Thank you.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, anybody who still has questions that have not put them in, please do so at this time. But one of the first ones to pop up was what inspires you to do the Wednesday walks and at 6:30 in the morning?
That's great. So, I've been paying attention to President Ryan up at UVA since my time started at the Coast Guard Academy. I had the opportunity to meet with some of his communications folks when I was going through a course at Harvard, and then just kind of paying attention to his writings and some of the other things that he was doing up at UVA. So when I came into the job, I knew that he did runs with Jim, and I said, I love to run. I'm going to try to do the half marathon here in Newport News coming up in March. But running, not everybody wants to go for a run, and not everybody can go for a run. So I thought going for a walk might be a little bit more inclusive. And the time frame is I'm up. I usually work out between 6 and 7, 6:30 and 7:30 every morning. So I said, I'm going for a walk anyway. So the very first walk, back in August, I came around the corner towards the plaza there where the fountain is. And I'm like, gosh, I hope there's at least 8 to 10, folks here. I don't think we've had, for an outdoor walk, we haven't had less than 20 people show up. And last Wednesday, it was about, I think it was 12 degrees out. It was crazy. So we had 12 people came and we walked around the Freeman Center on the track. And so the time frame might be a little challenging, but I was talking with a couple freshmen today, a couple guys that showed up, two guys that have been coming, that encouraged their buddies to come, and they ended up coming with about 10 guys. And the freshman's walking, he's got a cup of coffee in his hand. He's like, you get up this early in the morning, you get a lot done, you gotta get your day started. And I'm like, exactly. So it's a lot of fun, and there's always a different kind of little cohort of groups, or I had the women's lacrosse team show up once, I had sailing team show up, some guys from the men's lacrosse team showed up. So there's always a little bit different group that shows up, and our alumni are always welcome. We have a couple faculty members that show, and every now and then we'll have an alum show up as well. So that's appreciate that. And we did it this morning, and it was a pretty nice way to start the day.
All righty. You mentioned that the Ferguson Center and the Toler Center are gifts at this university. Can you share what your vision that you have of how the university utilizes these gifts under your leadership?
Yeah, thanks for that, Baxter. I think I appreciate that question. Toler Center is coming up on its 2-year anniversary, and the Ferguson Center is coming up on 20 years. So, Ferguson Center is, I'd like to make sure that everyone who comes to the Ferguson Center knows that they're coming to Christopher Newport University, and Christopher Newport University is a great public university in the Commonwealth. I do think there are folks, and I've talked to folks who come to the Ferguson Center and just think it's because where its setting is on campus, they're not really sure it's associated with us. Maybe it's the cities. So we need to do a better job of communicating the jewel that we have, both of those jewels. I think Toler, we have to give that a little bit of time as it comes into being. But there's some great exhibits that go on there. We have Anaheim at Huntington exhibits coming up in just a couple of weeks to celebrate her work. Celebrating that with our community. I believe we need to build a stronger bridge to our local Hampton Roads community, our Peninsula community, and let them know that our doors are open. We need to get out and continue to do the great service that we do in the community, and then welcome those folks in. But many folks don't know that our Lifelong Learning Center up Jefferson Avenue at the Yoder Dairy is the Yoder Barn is part of Christopher Newport University. So this is all part of the getting the word out in our local community. Bruce Bronstein does a great job of getting really top-notch first-line shows in there. So I see us continuing to do that, but leveraging it as a part of our university and our community. Thank you.
Another question is, as an alum and I've returned to campus, what can I do when I come back to campus for visits that really help with the mission of Christopher Newport?
Yeah, so we talk about time, talent, and treasure, and all too often when we speak to our alums, we talk about treasure. And believe me, we appreciate your treasure, and we can definitely use that. But I also recognize that so many of our alums are just starting out their lives. They're starting families, they have young kids, and their treasure isn't what it may be in the future. But when you can come back and you can spend time taking in an event at the Ferguson or Toler, going to a game, reconnecting with your faculty advisors, those folks in the DSU that serve all of us so well, and just spending time with them, and then figuring out how you can give your talent back to the university through those channels are so critically important. And Baxter, I know you're working with our alums on mentoring programs, and it doesn't have to be just here on campus. Wherever you're at, as I've said, wherever I've gone, I have met a captain someplace, a captain for life, literally someplace. Yeah, I was over in Ireland and I met a mom of a captain for life this summer. So, our tentacles go wide and far, and that's a very good thing. So think about how you can give back with your time, and then share the talent and experience that you have. And that could be as a mentee. It could be thinking about internship opportunities at your place of employment, where if you get a captain in there, they're going to knock it out of the park and do great things. So there's a wide array. Don't limit yourself to just thinking, well, it's got to be back on campus and it's got to be in a classroom setting or something along those lines. The sky's the limit. Let your initiative run wild, and please reach out through Baxter. And that's probably the best point of contact, his staff, to then connect you to others. And Baxter, I'd appreciate any follow-up that you might have on that, just to clarify.
No, I think as if I just wrote your answer. That's perfect. But the opportunities for coming and speaking to classes, as well as internship opportunities and potential jobs, as well as young alumni and helping them serve as mentors right outside of it. So fantastic. We have a couple more we have several more questions. One is, I've heard about this strategic compass. Can you talk a little bit about that? How can I learn more? And how can alumni influence and support that project? It was a very long question.
Yeah, that's, I apologize. That was literally the goals for 2024 strategic compass was at the top of my list. So I slipped right by that, getting excited about going to Richmond and engaging in other efforts. So, when I came into the job, I recognized that I'm following in the footsteps of a tremendous leader who had been here for 26 years, had built the university that we know today on the foundation that was built by CNC and the folks that went before him. So as I came into the university, not having a history here, not being part of the university, not matriculating up through the faculty, I recognize that we have to have a strategic vision to take us into the future. We are literally at a crossroads. I think in many respects, President Tribble built the university that we know today, along with many, many others, both on campus and off. And my responsibility is going to be to ensure that we sustain and appropriately grow the university going forward. And I've always thought the best way to do that is to have a strategic plan that we all buy into. And that's been a little bit of a culture shift here, but I think a good culture shift where, we're reaching out. I know we've reached out to some alums. We've reached out to all of our faculty, to all of our staff, and given them a voice in the process. We had a very successful meeting last week. We're down to about 4 or 5 major themes. Not ready for prime time yet, but I don't think any of the themes are going to surprise you. I've talked about them a little bit already. How can we be a hub for this peninsula region? How can Christopher Newport University be a center of excellence that brings the community together? Every great city has a great university. Making sure that we are, our foundation on academic excellence and excellence in the arts, excellence in athletics, and excellence in the way we treat each other never wavers. Being a more inclusive campus that celebrates the value of each and every student that we have, and then financial stability. I mean, bottom line, folks, we have to be financially stable in order to continue at the level that we expect here at Christopher Newport. So, with regards to our alums, we will be sharing more of this information with you as we go forward. I need to share it with my board of visitors and let them know where we're at. But when we get that out there, we'll be looking then. That'll obviously waterfall down to efforts and energy that we're going to need all captains engaged in. So thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to catch up on something I missed.
Another great question. I see that you and Mrs. Kelly are making an effort to be more inclusive and increase a feeling of belonging. What efforts are underway to increase diversity in enrollment and on campus and faculty and staff?
Yeah, so let me start on campus first, just with the air of approachability. Every single one of our students, our faculty, and our staff are valued members of this community. We're having our very first Pride Week this week, and Angie attended an event yesterday. I'm going to attend. I was out of town in Richmond. I'll be attending an event tonight with our faculty. We need to celebrate and lift up all of our students, all of our faculty, all of our staff. We need to create an environment where people feel like they truly belong here. We are our best selves when we feel like we belong and we can be our whole person. So there are many ways to do that. I think the first and foremost is by being approachable, by listening and learning to the challenges that some of our students encounter, some of our faculty encounter, some of our staff encounter, and then and learning from that, and then working to break down some of those barriers. I asked the provost and I asked Lisa Duncan Rains to gather a small team together to identify barriers to success for transfer students, for community college students, and then what they really said is we should probably look at that for students writ large. And they did that. They provided me the list, really the first cut on the list last week. And there's some real easy, low-hanging fruit things that we need to do. We'll knock those out, and then we'll continue to get after the bigger and more challenging ones. With regards to recruiting a more diverse student body, first and foremost, I just came back from meeting with, I met with both Virginia Peninsula Community College, Tidewater Community College, and I look forward, and Northern Virginia Community College, and I look forward to getting up to Rappahannock. We need to let those folks know that, a community college student is welcomed on this campus. I've met several community college students on campus. They are knocking it out of the park. Today we had a young woman. She's 30 years old. She's a prior Navy enlisted member. Went to VPCC and now is here. She's bringing different experiences, different background, different insights, and she wants to get her degree. She's here because she needs to get her degree in her mind, and I would agree with her, to do the things she wants to do in life. So I just feel like those folks add to the richness of our community. 18 to 22-year-olds will always be the kind of the base of who we're looking for, that 4-year on-campus experience. But we can enrich it by bringing students in maybe that have a slightly different background. As I mentioned earlier, out of state and international, those folks bring different perspectives, different backgrounds, different outlooks on the world, and they add to the richness of our campus. And then we need to provide that inclusive environment where everybody feels like they belong. And if you do that, I think we're going to just continue to soar.
There is a little bit of a follow-up to what you were just talking about. You mentioned the community colleges. What do you see the relationship between CNU and the other sort of 4-year and beyond universities in the Hampton Roads area, if any?
So I'm developing a good relationship with President Williams at Hampton. He and I both come to these jobs with a lifetime of military service. He's about a year ahead of me in his job at HU, and he's been incredible. His wife Myra and him have both been wonderful to me in supporting me and getting me kind of, Angie and I shouldn't say just me, but Angie and I kind of settled in and had to deal with the twists and turns of being a college president. Then with regards to the public universities, we all get together on a monthly basis. We'll be getting together on Monday. So I'm in the room with William and Mary. I'm in the room with Norfolk State. I'm in the room with ODU, and then all the other presidents from the colleges. I was just testifying yesterday up in Richmond with President Sands from Virginia Tech. So I have the opportunity to be the new guy in the room and to listen and learn from those folks as well.
There is a question that I know you did a lot of homework and you did some visits before taking the helm on July 1st, but has there been any pleasant surprises that you've learned about Christopher Newport since taking the helm that you didn't know about before?
Yeah, so it was a closed search. So what that means is I didn't come on campus and I didn't meet with the folks on campus. you watch your videos and you talk to parents, talk to graduates, and I talked to one or two staff members that I had a personal relationship with, and you hear great things about the environment and the community here. I'm telling you folks, you know this, and I'm learning it. People really, really care here. I keep going back to the Wednesday walks, but there was a faculty member today who taught at another prestigious university, where you would think, boy, that's where you want to be. She says, I love my job. I have the best job. I have the best job in the world, I think is what she said. And I said, no, I think I do. So we got back and forth a little bit. But the faculty and the staff really care about this university. They care about our students. I was hopeful that was the case, but that is flat out been the biggest surprise, because I didn't have that opportunity to really engage with them prior to, and they've been incredibly supportive of Angie and I, welcoming me into the classroom, welcoming me into their world, and really working hand in hand with us as we work through some challenges. And we've had some challenges. I walked in and we had a Title IX report, that we've been working through, and I'm going to get our next, we're calling it the next steps. I'm going to get our implementation plan here at the end of this month. We, as many of you know, we had a weapons discharge on campus back in November, and the other day-to-day challenges that you had. Faculty have been incredibly supportive, and I think part of that is being open and honest and transparent with them, and with the community. So Baxter, hands down, that's been the biggest surprise, and a very pleasant surprise.
All right, our last question is, and I don't think they're insinuating that you're leaving anytime soon, but what do you want your legacy at CNU to be?
I've been thinking about that a lot. And so as I sit here today, 6 months in, and I referred to it a little bit earlier, I haven't had the opportunity I've talked with President Tribble often. I haven't asked him what he thinks his legacy was. And I'm not sure. We'll probably have that conversation at some point in time. But the day that I hand over the keys, and I hope that's a long time from now, I want this university to be on an incredibly stable footing, whether that's with enrollment, whether that's with our beautiful facilities that we have here, ensuring that we have the long-term maintenance plan in place to make sure that we keep the standard that we've all come accustomed to, and then financially ensuring that we're sound financial footing, and then continuing to embrace and engage our alumni wherever they are. I think I've shared with you, Baxter, and I've shared with others, like whoever's the president here in 20 years, right, is going to be so blessed, because those new alums, they love the place just as much as the old alums do. And, just from an enrollment perspective, we've graduated a lot more recently than we did. I think you can comment on what our average age of alums are, but someplace in the low 40s. The love for this institution is amazing. And all I want to do is continue to build upon that as we go forward. So when this university is turned over, not that it's not on stable footing right now, but across the board, I think there's been so much effort and energy into growing the university into what we have today. I want us to be a stable, platform that continues to provide captains the greatest education, the greatest cultural experience that they can have, the greatest athletic experience that they can have, an incredibly inclusive campus where everybody feels like they belong. And I would think I'd be remiss if the provost is watching if I didn't mention, we've evolved over time. 52% of our graduates graduate with a STEM degree right now. We're literally broken ground on the Science, Engineering, and Research Center. You can watch that online. Right now, it's just a flat piece of land with a lot of the work going on underneath. But in not too distant future, we're going to start to see that building go up, and that's incredibly exciting. We're going to have a 2-story drone lab in there. We're going to have a robotics lab. We're going to have tons of makerspace in there, so that our students can not only prepare for the jobs of today, but prepare for the jobs in the future that's ahead of them. And I'm really, really excited about that. And if I could, just one other surprise to the previous question. I underestimated the amount of opportunities that are located right here in the Newport News, York County Peninsula region, from really the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel up to Busch Gardens. You think about the amount of business and industry that's here, the amount of job opportunities that are here. That is incredibly amazing. Newport News Shipbuilding, the largest employer in the state of Virginia. Cannon Enterprise, Ferguson, Riverside Hospital, Jefferson Labs, and all the neat stuff that's happening there. You know, the Center of Excellence for High Performance Data, and also for accelerators in this country. It's amazing how much infrastructure is here for business and industry, NASA, the military. So it is a ripe arena. And what we know is if we can get students in here from out of state, they actually stay here at twice the level of any other state university in the state of Virginia. So please continue to invest your time, your talent, and your treasure in this place that we love so much. I promise you that I will continue to be an open, transparent, and engaged leader who's always working in the best interest of our students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and the friends of this university. And I thank you for all of your support. And I do look forward to getting to meet each and every one of you.
Thank you, President Kelly. And thanks to all of you for being a part of today's session. Our next talk will take place on February 22nd at the same time, but with Brandon Jones, class of 2000. He is the director of the Community Captains Program, and he's going to tell you a little bit about that incredible program. A survey will be sent out to everyone who participated today to learn about some topics that you would like to hear in future talks. And again, I thank you all for joining us today, and we will be seeing you soon.